everyone. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to see everyone in the room and everyone that's listening. I'm just so excited. We've been having such an amazing week and just filled with dynamic speakers and dynamic conversations. And tonight is going to be just as special. So welcome back to Confidence in Color, our chat series, and just celebrating who we are as women of color, our identities, our struggles, our strengths. This whole week has been a series of conversations with thought leaders, motivational speakers, and regular women just like you, sharing their insights and their experiences and challenges to help us see that our own goals are achievable. All right, we've touched on identity, love, courage, and so many essentials that we need and sometimes take for granted or simply don't have access to as women of color. I am a Black Afro-Caribbean woman myself. I know firsthand the challenges that we face in our personal and professional lives. Despite our many accomplishments and contributions, we often feel invisible or overlooked. And some of us struggle with things like imposter syndrome, self-doubt, or just like this fear of standing out. And I don't know, particularly for my Caribbean folk too, like how many of you have been raised with that phrase, children should be seen and not heard, right? Let me know in the chat if you know that one. It's one that I've heard a lot, and it's a phrase that I hate, right? Because of the connotation of what it represents as a child, right? It's like you need permission to be seen. And I think it puts you in this place of being raised wondering, when does your voice matter, right? When is it okay for you to hear me? And I think sometimes these sort of like cultural directives like that, right? Or even just some of the other complexities of who we are really feed into ourselves and our relationship with authority and the use of our voice. And all these things can hold us back from reaching our full potential and achieving the things that we want in life. But not today, right? Today, we hope to restore some of that. I hope every day of this series has been restorative. But let me tell you who I am as we continue. My name is Amanda Flood. I'm the curator of this experience. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and mindset coach for women in business. I support leaders with navigating stress and burnout so that their people can thrive. And I support my women entrepreneurs with the mindset needed to conquer their fears and dominate their business. Last night, we discussed courage and how the opposite of that, fear, can keep us in places that we might not want to be. The night before that, we talked about love and how that really starts from the inside. It's been just like inspirational. And actually, if you're listening on socials right now, please tag a friend or hit share so someone else can gain from the conversation. In today's chat, we're going to continue all that inspiration, and I really want as many women as possible to experience this. Today's power session, we're going to explore the reasons why Black women may be afraid to be seen and offer some tips to own your spotlight and support the confidence to be seen, right? And helping me tonight is a fellow social worker and professional makeup artist, Sharon Robinson-Clayton. So hello, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Great.
Absolutely.
So glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And I'm just looking at the chat. Children should be seen and not heard. That awful phrase is one of the most devastating things that could have been taught to us as melanated people. Absolutely agree. It just puts us in like this place of submission, right? But like I said, we're going to undo some of that today. Sharon, tell us a little bit about you, because you're going to help us with that dismantling as we reassemble ourselves today like some superheroes, honey. So tell us a little bit more about you.
I'm going to try real hard. Hi, everyone. I'm Sharon Robinson-Clayton, and I am a wife, mother, but I'm also really blessed to have two fabulous careers that really thrive and bolster each other. I am a social worker. I'm an MSW. I work in the addictions field. I've been a social worker for 25 years. And I love it. I love helping. It's kind of always been in me. And I am also a professional makeup artist, and I'm the owner of On Point Beauty by SRC Faces, which is my beauty business that I've built. I've been a makeup artist for over 15 years. And like I said, these two careers just really thrive together. I never, never say that I do makeup on the side. I really feel like these are two full-time careers for me. When I'm kind of done with my 9 to 5, I'm booking clients, making schedules for wedding parties. So these are two careers that I love and I do simultaneously. Um, and I guess, social work started first. Um, when I graduated school, I'm also of Caribbean descent. So you don't tell your Jamaican parents that you want to be a makeup artist, when you're graduating from school. If it's not doctor, lawyer, nurse, or teacher, then, even social work was a stretch, right? So, and I know you all know it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so social work was a stretch, but that I won with that and I got that. So I went to social work school. And I did a field placement in an addiction setting. And at first, when they gave me the field placement, I was like, I don't think you gave me the right field placement. And no, they said, this is your field placement. And I started and I never left the addiction field. It's very rewarding. Um, so yeah, those are two passions, that
Of yours.
two hats that I wear.
And I love that you try to wear them both at the same time and you made that distinction. It's not that one is like aside from me, right? And I actually think that's super powerful because we do see a lot of some of the things that we do as like our side hustle or our side business, but why does it need to be a side? Can it actually own the space that we're in because it is something that we love to do and something that we want to do and we're passionate about? So thank you for that already. You already got me like rethinking my whole life. So I love it. So going right into this, what is one of the most surprising things that you've learned about women of color in your years of doing makeup?
um, I would have to say that it's really kind of um evident in the title of, the confidence to be seen. A lot of times we're used to taking the back seat or we're behind something. We're usually promoting something else, but we're the ones that are, behind it. In our businesses or in our projects, we're usually the ones working behind the scenes. Even for myself, it took a long time for me to kind of even be the face of my business. I'm used to working and I'm used to serving, and that's kind of what we do I'll say as Black women. We're serving, we're helping, we're the doers, but we often don't. It's not usually our face that gets first priority. Um, like I said, it took a long time to be the face of my business, having the confidence for myself to be seen. Um, so I think we struggle with that. We're used to being helped, we're used to assisting, we're used to helping, but not often being the face of our projects or of our
Priority. Yeah,
right.
yeah. Even if it's ours, there's still something that feels kind of funky about that. And I can relate to that because I've heard that with other folks where they struggle to put their face out there. There's all these question marks about like, what will people think about me? I think in a way too, like I'm not good enough to be there, even though it is like your thing, your brand, your baby, the thing that you built. And put all this energy to. So it's definitely something for us to think about, right? Like, why aren't we good enough to be up there? Like
Right.
Rihanna was dancing, honey. She was dancing on stage and she paused to say, here go my makeup, honey, right? Like y'all gonna see and know all of me.
I know. That was so fabulous, right? It even brings me back. I don't know if you've seen or what was it, either on Netflix or on demand, one of those. When we were in the movie watching stages over the pandemic, the docu-series of Madam C.J. Walker. Something about that strikes me as certainly the first female self-made millionaire. But when she was ready to go into branding mode of her brand and of her product, I remember a part in the scene where even it's her husband, who's her manager, who's helping her to unveil like what her branding was going to look like. And I think there was a feeling that she would be the face of her brand, but it was another woman. There was another woman, light skin, different texture hair, and she couldn't even represent her her brand. And I just remember that and feeling like, yeah, I think that's what a lot of, women go through. Like, we're not, enough
Enough.
uh, to be
Yeah.
seen, to represent our projects, represent our brand. So I remember that from the movie, and that stuck out to me, even with this topic.
Mm, mm. So much. It's so much for
But
us to like think about and unpack like why that is, right? And thinking about you as someone who's just worked both in the helping profession as a social worker and in the makeup industry, you probably likely had unique experiences with Black women, women of color, and based on those experiences, what do you consider to be the most like critical component of confidence?
um, so even in I'll use makeup for a second, and it could be makeup and social work, but I'll focus on makeup for a second. I mean, just in the nature of the work, you're uh getting women glammed and made up so that they'll feel confident, right? Um, to portray themselves in any setting. You think of sometimes even wearing a power red lip, and that really gives someone the confidence to like go out there. But um, again, the feeling that we're not enough without some of these things is often what I see as oh, my skin isn't right, or something isn't, something is off with me, or so I know me, and as well as tons of other makeup artist professionals, we try to get out of saying, you don't need makeup. Makeup is an enhancement. But there's so many people who feel like they need, makeup to again feel like, like they're acceptable and they're okay and that they're ready. But yeah, a lot of times it's kind of breaking down. You don't need this, but this is an enhancement. I mean, I could, you know, we can enhance, we can make even a natural look, but it's not a need. So kind of breaking people out of feeling that they're again not good enough.
So we're kind of hiding behind that a little bit too, right? And it's almost like a little bit of a crutch. Like we can't do A unless I look like B, right?
Right. Comparison too.
Mm,
Um, you know, a lot of women, compare, or they're not looking like this, or they're not looking, keeping up with standards. So again, that keeps them from not wanting to be, seen and out there. And um, comparison is definitely
the
a
thief of
drawback or
joy.
pulls. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
So
yes.
in terms of the component of confidence, so it's a bit of not comparing yourself to others and seeing even things like makeup in itself as something to enhance you, right? Which I feel like could parallel like all of our skills and the things that make up who we are. Like it's really there to enhance you, but it's still you, right? Like you
Right,
have to still show up and represent whatever it is that you want to represent.
right. And even it's sometimes too, you get women that are, you know, again, fearful of how they're represented, and they'll say that, oh, well, I don't want to be wearing a mask or anything like that. And so there's so many different levels that you have to break down with makeup, and explain how it's how it's going to help to portray you. Some people that feel like they're not going to be themselves, or they're going to be someone different,
Mhm. Mhm.
through makeup or with makeup. Um, yeah,
Getting
yeah.
comfortable with you. That's what I'm hearing, right? We still have to do this work to get comfortable with ourselves. And then along those lines, so what are some ways that we can embrace our confidence, which might just be embracing ourselves, but so that we can show up and we can occupy like our rightful space?
Well, I mean, that's actually the thing, like feeling that we can and we should be take up space. We have a right to be here. We have the right to the opportunities that we seek. And I even want to say and call it, it's our birthright, right? We're on the shoulders of others who have forged ahead of us, who have created the opportunity for us to have these spaces. So who are we not to take up space and portray ourselves, and be confident to be seen as who we are, even who we want to be with enhancements through makeup. Who are we not to not take up space? I remember like my dad, um said this to me, and it, I mean, had nothing to do with makeup. It has had more to do with it was property over my grandmother's home. And after she passed, again, Caribbean parents, didn't have like all her documents in a row and everything that should have happened. So there was a lot of things that we had to do, kind of, behind the scenes to put things in
Mhm.
order.
Mhm.
And I remember just, after a while, just kind of feeling like like it was labor intensive, a lot of work behind it. And he was like, "This is your birthright. Like you need to, do what you have to do. Like, you know, um,
Mm. To get
people
this,
worked
to do
hard, your
this.
grandmother worked hard
Yeah.
so that you can have this. It's not like you're not begging anybody anything. Like you're supposed to have this. So this is your birthright." And so I look at it in the same way, like the opportunities and the moments that we have them because others forged a way for us to have these spaces. So we need to take up space, and we need to be big and not be small and not play down, and know that we're here because we're supposed to be here.
I love all of that. It's my right to be here, right? We're supposed to be here. Like, man, if we could claim all of that, we'd be unstoppable, And I love that. And I love it because sometimes we even just need to hear it again. So it's reframed for us, right? I see it as like a lot of self-awareness on our part because we just get so wrapped up in everything that we forget sometimes, and we forget that really that this beauty starts from the inside, right? This confidence starts from the inside, So have you even paused long enough to look at what that really looks like, right? What does she really look like on the inside? What does she really feel, right? What are her beliefs that shape that? Does she understand that it's her birthright? If I had to give you a great exercise, I would say to think about what are some of the unhelpful thoughts that you have about confidence that shows up, especially in spaces that require the risk and vulnerability, right? That require you to walk in and know that, like, this is mine, I belong here, just like everybody else. So, as much as we want you to say it with that power, I know sometimes it can bring some fears and it can bring some hesitations, it can bring some resistance, but behind that are some thoughts. And I want you to write out those thoughts, right? So, wherever it is that you need to show up, start thinking about what you think about and write down those unhelpful thoughts, right? And then once you have them and you realize that, okay, like these are not the thoughts that are going to inspire me to act, I want you to practice rewriting it in a way that positions you to move forward, because we want you to be able to move forward. So change it around in a way that helps you to see that this is your right and that I am fully capable and whatever else that you need. Okay. And whatever that is that you come up with, speak that over yourself every day. Speak it over yourself before you go to bed, or speak it to yourself in the mirror in the morning. But get into this practice of giving yourself what you need from the inside, right? So we can really show up and exude that confidence on the outside. Okay. And let me know if you try it. Let me know if you try that exercise. You can let me know if you like it in the chat, or drop a note later. Let me know how it goes. Okay. But for you, Sharon, how have you developed your confidence? And are there like specific moments in your life that's really shaped that?
So one thing that helps, and I'd like to, give it to everybody as well, to employ and to use, is that one thing that helps me with confidence, is to envision that you've already won. And in kind of in social work and in the work that I do, we're often writing like grants and contracts for programs. And a lot of times we have to think about, well, what's the outcome? What do we want to happen in this project? What are we paying for at the end of the day? And I feel like a lot of that applies to, again, to yourself and to the projects and passions and things that you do. Envision that you've already won. Envision that people are already cheering for you. Like envision already 1,000 likes and whatever it is, envision that it's winning. It's already happened in the best way that you want it to come out. And so some of that is, like, again, like you said, retraining your thinking, kind of dismissing and putting aside the fear. How they often said, like, if you're doing public speaking, to imagine like everyone is
Naked.
not naked, or their underclothes,
Right.
undergarments. And that's really to kind of like just level the playing field. So imagine imagine that it's already happened, like you're already winning and people are already saying, this was fabulous, you did a great job. One of the mantras of my business, I don't use it as much, but I really need to pick it up because I feel like it's really coming to fruition. Is one of the things that was, I guess a tagline of my business was, celebrity style makeup for the everyday woman. Like I want every woman to feel like they're amazing and they're a celebrity and they're a star. And that's kind of what I go for, like when I'm doing makeup. Like I think of, when somebody books an appointment with me, I think of, okay, which star, which celebrity, who are we going to, like, who am I envisioning when I'm, applying this makeup or when I'm doing a session with someone. I just did an event this past weekend, and it was for some women for a fundraising event, and I did a couple of them, and so everybody started posting the pictures of the event, and somebody made a comment say, "Wow, this event looks like it was the Oscars," and I'm like, "Yes, that's what I was going for." Like,
Yes.
so I mean, you have to think with the end goal in mind. And envision that it's already successful. You've already won, and that kind of helps you through the steps. Look, I've already got this. I won. I'm already, and I already am doing what I need to do. I'm already, like, people are already receiving this, and it's already wonderful. So you're just doing the steps that go along with it already being wonderful. It's a way
Think
to train
with
your
the
brain a
end
little
game
bit.
in mind. Think like you've won. I love it. And if you guys have mantras, like drop them in the chat too, right? I'm seeing there you owe no one nothing. This no longer serves me. So keep working those mantras, right? It just, my God, like it just like it energizes you, right? So it's great to start thinking in this way that can energize us and help us to be like where we need to be. Thank you so much for sharing that. And going back again to like makeup and business, we know representation matters. So how does representation and diversity in the beauty industry affect the self-esteem and confidence of women of color?
So representation, I mean, we're getting there, but we have not arrived yet. We're, certainly still, representation in terms of makeup artists, even hair artists in kind of the settings, in celebrity settings, in, TV and movies and things like that. It's still not where it needs to be, but we're certainly more than we've been before. And I think what helps to raise the bar net is as we get more of our African American women and stars and celebrities, getting major roles and major movie deals, and our music artists and things like that. The more they come along, is the more that representation increases. But still, it's not where it needs to be. I still see, you still see, posts and articles about, models who'll get to things like Fashion Week and there's nobody to do their makeup, or, there's no one who can, handle their complexion, deep complexions. They can't do their texture hair. So it's still disappointing to hear those things. And I absolutely don't like when I hear people that are leaving these fields because the representation isn't there. If Tyra Banks had decided that, no one could do her hair, no one could do her makeup, I mean, and we had lost her in the field, we wouldn't have had America's Next Top Model and all the things that have come after that. So I just think, we just need to continue to occupy space and
it's hard, right? And I think that's why we need like spaces where there's some sort of like checkpoint where there's that support to continue, right? Because you're right, if she kind of backed out, it would be a different story because of all the opportunities that she created. But it's also hard to feel like you don't belong somewhere. And that's such a real acknowledgement that we need. Like, you may not understand like the complexities of someone's complexion, right? And the texture of their hair, and we can't take that for granted either.
Right. And even things are even evolving in terms of makeup lines and makeup brands. And thank goodness for like a Rihanna, who demanded that there be a 40 shade range, you know, and now everything after that is just increasing. You see different makeup lines now coming to the table with very wide ranges. And so the more that we get into spaces, like the more we become creators of makeup and brands, is just, you know, helps it to be better and raises the bar in terms of us being present and being represented.
Raise the bar. Whatever you're doing, raise the bar. Occupy space. I see y'all there on Facebook. Occupy space, right? So and I think it's whatever your profession is, you know, it's easy to just be where we are and be okay with that, but is that really enough, right? Is our so many things. Is our presence enough? Is representation enough? Or are we just kind of settling with where we are? And think about what that would mean for you to push the envelope a little bit more for the, you know, the younger generation that's coming up, the young girls and boys that may need to see themselves out there too, right? My mom goes to movies like Encanto. There's another one I was watching on Netflix where it was like an African-American based character, and even like how my daughter like lit up just seeing her on the screen, and they have no idea really the complexities of representation, but you could see the impact of her seeing herself on the screen, right? So it's so important that we are in the spaces, but it may mean we need to push, and it may mean we've got to also support each other to get there too. But Sharon, just such good information and good thinking points so far, right? And as we get ready to wrap here, if you guys have any questions for her, please drop that in the chat. And as they do that, can you share any last insights or positive notes that you may have for the next woman listening tonight?
So yeah, so I was going to say that, and even though you know, that we're like representation is increasing and we're getting into more spaces, I love that we're making our own tables too. I like that we're carving out our own you know, our own niches, and you know,
Right.
therapy for Black girls and mental health for Black, you know, we're like kind of making our own. You know, we're saying, you know, okay, we're not represented, but we're developing our own. So you know, I would say don't fight to be at a table, you know, make your own and bring your own chair and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be feel like you have to fight your way into spaces.
Right. Or stay there if it's not working. You can create your own there.
Right. Be unique, show up authentically. And I say this specifically for, you know, if there's anyone in the audience that's like entrepreneurs or are pursuing businesses, you know, bring the authentic you. That's what people really want. I mean, there might be 100 million of makeup artists, but nobody does it like I do it. Nobody comes with what I come with, and no one comes to the you know, to the market with what you may specifically have, what makes you know you authentic. Don't feel like you have to replicate again, like what's going on the other tables. Be your own table, bring your own chair, bring off the authentic you, because really that's what people, you know, that's what people want. That's what people pay for. That's what people, that's the experience that people want. They want the unique experience that you bring. Yeah, like I said, I you know, people will say things like, oh, the market's saturated with whatever makeup artists, but they're not bringing it like how, you know, how I bring it, or in my authentic
They're
self.
not you. Right.
Right.
And it doesn't mean that you're going to find an appointment with everybody else either. Right. So I think about it like therapy. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of us, but there really isn't, right? Especially for like therapists of color. But it takes a while to find like who might be a good fit for you. It takes a while to find an appointment, right? But you can fill a gap for somebody that's looking. So don't think that there isn't space for you, right? Just kind of show up and let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
And sidebar, Sharon has done my makeup before, honey, and she is fabulous. Okay. And more than one.
Yeah. I love it. Loyal return clients.
Oh my goodness. It's always like a beautiful experience, right? It's something like that feels special about being glammed up. I think there's something exceptional about like your natural self as well. But it's like a whole experience when you do that. So if you ever had to have the opportunity, whether that's working with Sharon or anyone else, like treat yourself, right? Get glammed up, even if it's to take yourself out. Like, go ahead, girl, like you deserve all of that, right? But lovely.
Exactly.
I see Betsy there on the other side. She says people will gravitate to your authentic self, and it's very true, right? Look how many different types of restaurants there are out there. You try something different. You have your ones that you go to more often. So yeah, there's room for all of us. But beautiful. Thank you so much for your time today, Sharon. I think, this was just like a honest and candid conversation. I hope that you guys got something out of the conversation today. If you took time to listen, please leave one of your takeaways for us in the comments. That'd be super helpful too, right? So what's one thing that stands out to you from today's conversation? I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of the series. Today is Thursday, so we got one more tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to some of you ladies coming with us on the retreat in July so we can do some of this live. Our Renew, Connect, Restore retreat in Panama is happening, and it's designed for women of color, leaders, entrepreneurs, women in between. And it's really meant to be restorative. It's meant to explore like what's possible. We talked about entrepreneurship today and taking up space in that way. And also just being in a space to connect with other women and other like-minded women, other women that have had these experiences, because it is really unique who we are and how we move through the world. So make sure to check that out too. I'll leave the link for that, and also leave the link for our beautiful guest Sharon Robinson-Clayton as well. Otherwise, I hope some bit of today supports you embracing your identity and potential, and supports you moving with confidence in the spaces that you occupy. It's truly been a pleasure. Thank you again, Sharon. You were just like phenomenal. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. This was fabulous. We got to take up space. And one thing too, if we have daughters, take up space. They're watching how we take up space.
Oh yeah, that's so big. And we didn't talk about that a
I
lot,
should
but
have
they
said
are
that, right?
watching. Yeah, right. And like they're so impressionable, and they need us, and they need to see us.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, thank you everyone. Good night. We'll see you guys soonish.